Nagelsmann out. I'm just playing you guys. Welcome to BAYERN RIDDR, the latest and greatest Bayern Munich fan channel on YouTube. I'm your host, Ritter. Let's get right into it, buddy. Okay, so my dance moves aren't very compatible with this squeaky chair. All right, guys, welcome to the channel. I'm just going to be heading straight into it. Good eye, mate. I'm super excited the Bundesliga is back. It was great to see all the fans in the stadium after all the stuff with COVID. And, man, I mean, it was a beautiful day. The German national anthem at the beginning, by the way, crisp. Oh, that was actually the best rendition, I think, of the German national anthem that I've seen. So that was really good to watch, for sure. It was really great to see Davies on the field. I know that he's been battling an injury. He couldn't really play in the Gold Cup, so it was really good to see him on the field. It was good to see Stanisic, man, getting the young players some game time, even though at the expense of injuries of some of our other players. I think that it was really good to see the youngster out there doing his thing. Good to see Sane starting as well. I was saying that I really wanted him to get some game time right from the top, get his confidence up, and he was one of our better players. I'll get into some match ratings in a little bit, but definitely thought that he was one of our more threatening players, so it was really good to see him doing well. So, yeah, the first half, man, started out really bad. I've noticed a trend with Bayern Munich. Back when Flick was in charge, and even before that with Kovac, we would just, kind of start out really shaky, defensively kind of unorganized, like it was just taking a second to get in that gear. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes we score right off the bat, and we just dominate the game. But every now and then, more than I'd like, we concede very quickly, like in the first 10, 15 minutes, which is exactly what happened. I think we got scored on in the 9th minute yesterday. But again, this is the first game of the season, so it's kind of expected that people are going to be a little bit rough around the edges. That was kind of a trend going through the entire game, just lots of little mistakes, passes just barely too far, long pings kind of going way left or right, not as clinical finishing as I'd like to see. And I'll get into that in a little bit as well. It was great that Levy opened his goal account. I was really hoping that he would start off strong as well. That's actually the 13th successive game with a goal for Lewandowski. So, I mean, that's just insane. After the first 15, 20 minutes after we conceded the goal, we actually became pretty dominant. We controlled, majority of possession. I think we had about 65% possession at the end of the halftime. And, of course, we scored right before halftime, so it was looking good. We also came out of halftime pretty strong, I thought, and dominated again. We were just not very clinical at all. I mean, we were not clinical, just period. We were hitting shots at Sommer, who had a great game. Sommer was sick, and so was Scally, by the way, from Mönchengladbach. It's great to see him doing well in the Bundesliga for sure. But in terms of Sommer, man, I've never seen a goalkeeper not move and make more saves than Sommer did last night. He did good, but we also helped him out a ton by hitting pretty much every shot straight at him. So that kind of sucked. I mean, I think Levy had about 4 or 5 shots literally straight at Sommer, which, some of them were first time shots. You can't really blame him for that. He did good to even get him on target, but Davies had one with his weak foot coming across the goal, hit it with his right foot, and it went straight at Sommer. Sane had a curler or two that went straight at him, or way wide, which I hope Sane gets kind of better at that final shot there throughout the season. Kimmich was unlucky to get to have his shot with his weak foot as well, was wide, and that was pretty much the end of the game. That was just the trend of the game. To be honest, I feel as if we had been more clinical in the chances we had earlier in the match, that we wouldn't have had as many scares with them. With Borussia Mönchengladbach, had a couple of chances late in the game when Thuram came on. I don't think that we would have had been so exposed in the back, because I think it would have been more calm being ahead. But because we weren't clinical before, we were pushing up more, and I feel like that left us exposed in the back, and we almost got scored on. So I think we were lucky to come away with a point, to be honest. The way we were shooting, I feel like we were lucky that they didn't score at least one more. They had a couple chances, couple shots for a penalty. Overall, it was going to be tough anyway to come out and play our first competitive game under a brand new coach with a few new players and a couple injuries. So I remain proud of the team, and hopefully we'll see some improvement going forward. Also, fun fact, that was 72nd straight games in all competitions with a Bayern Munich goal. So we remain at least scoring once per match. Hopefully we can score some more going forward. I have no doubt we will. Nagelsmann is... I have faith in Nagelsmann. All right, let's get into some match ratings. So I think that generally speaking, I'm going to be not necessarily lenient on the ratings, but I feel like you'd have to do something pretty bad to get a bad rating and pretty good to get a good rating. So with that being said, I'm going to start out with every player at a 6 when the game starts, and then going on throughout the game, I make adjustments. So I did that with this first game of the season. So yeah, let's get right into it. Lewandowski got his goal, not necessarily as clinical as I'd expect him to be. He had a couple great chances that he was unfortunate to not bury, so I'm gonna have to give him an 8 just because he did get the goal. But I feel like other than that, he was not as clinical as we have seen him be. Thomas Muller, I think that he was not good but not bad. I mean, I gave him a 7, so he didn't do anything necessarily bad. I just thought that Muller's the type of player that sometimes he's just kind of like invisible the whole game, kind of clunky, like misplacing a pass or two, misplacing a touch or two, but then he'll like just appear in like the best spot on the whole pitch and provide a great goal or a great assist. And he didn't do that, but he definitely didn't play bad, so that's why I'm giving him a 7. Gnabry, I gave him a 7 as well, just because kind of the same thing. Like, he didn't do anything spectacular. He missed a shot early on, but other than that, I don't think he did anything necessarily bad. He was kind of threatening going forward. I really like his energy. He plays with a lot of hustle, so I really like that. But I don't think he really deserves anything too high, just because I don't think he did anything spectacular. So I gave him a 7. Leroy Sané's next. I think that Sané was better than Gnabry, more threatening, but also a little bit worse than Gnabry, and I think he lost the ball more and kind of had some crazy shots sometimes, straight at Summer or way wide, stuff like that. But I mean, I would rather him play like that with confidence than just be like always passing backwards or something like that and afraid to make mistakes. So I did like that he came out with confidence and he was taking players on, even sometimes more than one player on, and he was doing really well, getting around people, providing chances. I think he was just a little bit not as great with the final ball, whether it be a pass or a shot. So I gave him a 7.5. Joshua Kimmich always gives you a good performance, man. I rarely see him make a mistake. I think he was just a little rusty, to be honest, coming out. Again, he didn't do anything bad, but I don't think he did as good as Lewandowski giving us the goal there, so I'm going to give him a 7.5 as well. Goretzka, I thought he was a little bit less involved than Kimmich. You know what? Actually, I'm going to change my mind on that, because Goretzka had a knockdown for Lewandowski, and Lewandowski almost scored. He did good defensively. I thought he had great interceptions and tackles. So I'm going to give him a 7.5 as well. Upamecano, man, to be honest, I think he was one of our worst players today. Unfortunately, not that I can really expect him to be amazing right from the start. He's a great player, and he's worked with Nagelsmann before, obviously at RB Leipzig, but I do feel like he was probably our worst player yesterday. And man, he almost gave away a penalty or two, arguably. I don't think either one was a penalty. I put it this way: I thought it would have been harsh to give either one as a penalty, but yeah, I mean, he was kind of responsible for putting himself in that position to begin with. So I give him a 6, just because I thought he was not great at all. But I have faith in him, man. I mean, we paid a lot of money for him. I think he's a great player. I've seen him put on great performances when RB Leipzig played against some of the other big Champions League teams, and he had put some of these guys straight in his pocket. Moving on to Stanisic. Stanisic, man, I think people were really happy to see him play, and so they're kind of rating him highly. I actually did not rate him very highly this game, particularly. I thought that he was really clumsy with the ball. He tried to switch it like 2 or 3 times, and it didn't go anywhere near where he was trying to aim it. He did find himself in some good positions attacking-wise and had a couple of shots, unlucky to get them blocked, but generally speaking, I didn't think he was very good. So I give him a 6.5. But I mean, he's super young, so I don't really have a problem with him kind of with the growing pains of playing as a young player. So moving on to Neuer. Neuer was a beast, man. He sweeper keeping, he came out plenty of times to help us with that high line. I mean, what more can you ask from the GOAT of goalkeeping of all time? I think he's the GOAT, to be honest. I mean, he made a couple great saves as well. I think the El Capitan did a great job, so I gave him an 8 for sure. I think he was just as influential as Lewandowski. And moving on to your man of the match for me was Alphonso Davies. Alphonso Davies, I mean, was all over the field. I think that he ran more than I've seen him ever run before, just up and down the pitch, trying to deal with the kind of explosiveness that Borussia Mönchengladbach played with, especially in the opening minutes, kind of trying to go forward. Obviously, Nagelsmann has instructed him to overlap with Gnabry. Man, he would overlap and then run all the way back trying to play defense. I'm giving him an 8.5 man of the match rating, and I think he could have been higher if we were a little bit more organized in the back. But I don't blame him for not being there to help defend after he just made a 75-yard run forward to overlap Gnabry and provide a great opportunity for a goal. Unlucky to not get an assist with Lewandowski's shot. That was an incredible ball in over the top, man. I was excited about that one. Unfortunately, he didn't get the goal, but he did have a couple chances as well. With his right foot, he was unable to get it past Sommer, but probably our most threatening player yesterday for sure. In terms of substitutes, Musiala and Coman are the only ones I'm going to even give a rating because Bunassar, Choupo-Moting came on. None of them did anything good or bad. Like, they didn't have enough time to really do much for me to even justify giving them a rating. Musiala was definitely better than Choupo-Moting and Bunassar. Like, at least he made a little bit of effect on the game, so I'm going to give him a 6.5. But, you know what? I forgot to give Sula a rating, I think. Sula, I gave him a 6.5. I think he was better than Upamecano. Not great. He had a couple bursts forward with the ball where he was able to make sure he kept possession really well with his quick ball movement. He's actually surprisingly quick on the ball for being a guy who's like 6'5", like 240 or something. However, I don't think he's that heavy, but still. But I just don't think he was organized enough with everybody else. It's just the back line in general, man. It was really tough. I think Alphonso Davies was trying to go forward a lot. And Borussia Mönchengladbach were going to play that counter-attacking football. So I think it was really hard for Sula to kind of patch the holes in the boat as he's running back with Upamecano as well. So, yeah, I think it was a tough game defensively for sure. And like I said, I think we were lucky to not concede more goals than we did. So, yeah, Kingsley Coman, I'm going to give him a 7. He came on and was influential. He's been improving tremendously with his final ball. His balls into the box were really, really good. He had a couple wild shots, but, I mean, in terms of his crosses, I think they were pretty much on point. We just got unlucky not to really get ahead on any of them. But yeah, I think he was fairly good when he came on, so I'm going to give him a 7. I'm going to rate Nagelsmann as well. Nagelsmann, it's really tough to rate him even in the first place because he's brand new, but I do want to give him a rating to the coaches when I do player ratings. And I think I'm going to give him a 7 just because I thought we were actually pretty dominant, but just unorganized in the back, that's been a problem that's been around Bayern Munich for a while now. So I can't really blame him alone too much. I think he's trying to bring in a new system. You know, this is his first competitive game with all the starters. So I definitely think there's room to improve, but it wasn't bad. You know, for expectations, I think if we were more clinical, then we would all be saying Nagelsmann's off to a great start. Because Lewandowski, finishes one of those 4 or 5 shots instead of hitting him straight at Sommer. So, yeah, I think Nagelsmann did a pretty good job. I'm going to rate the ref, too, bro. I'm going to give him a 7 plus 0.5 for booking the Borussia Mönchengladbach coach. I thought that was hilarious. So, yeah. Overall, guys, this could be a tough year for us. Lots of growing pains, like I said, but I think it wasn't the worst start ever. Definitely just a little bit of rust around the edges, you know what I'm saying? If Livy puts one of those chances away, I mean, we're all happy, right? So, I mean, I think we're just a little bit unlucky. Yeah. Anyway, guys, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in Bayern Munich content in general. I'm going to be kind of adding more and more stuff to this channel. So if you're watching this, definitely subscribe and stick around if you're a Bayern Munich fan, because I want to be doing like live stream watch-alongs. I want to stream FIFA, career modes and pro club sessions with you guys. I think that'd be sick. So definitely stick around, and I'm going to be kind of improving as I go. And I just love talking about Bayern Munich. So if you love Bayern Munich too, bro, come hang out, and we'll be all right. See you next time. Take it easy.